In our last video, we were looking at the research process. And so the steps we're going to look at is to recognize the problem, determine the motivation, determine where the information already exists, conduct that exploratory research to understand the situation, and clarify the problem. Those are the first 5 steps. We introduced the entire process in the last video. We're going to work through those first couple steps throughout the next couple videos. So let's start with recognizing the problem. Okay, so it's always too many things to move at once. Okay, so it's very important that we clearly define the problem. Remember, ultimately, we are going to collect data, analyze data, make recommendations to help inform decisions. So it is important that we have the proper research problem. So we need to make sure we understand what is it the organization is trying to solve. So an example of a poor problem definition. The first light beer was developed by Meister Brau, and the taste tests for it revealed that people really liked the new taste. But when it was released, the beer failed and it didn't have very good sales. The product was ultimately sold to the Miller Brewing Company. So the challenge here is that the research showed that people like the taste. But that's not the underlying question. The question is not whether or not people like the taste, it's will people buy even a good tasting light beer. And so they had the wrong research problem. Now, when Miller Lite took on the product and was going to sell light beer, the key here is how do we appeal to people so that they are willing to buy a lighter beer, right? So if people deep down like the taste and want a healthier product, then how do we sell that, promote that? How do we make it acceptable to buy a beer that is healthier without having it look less manly or wimpy? So it's really about asking the right question, not about do people like the taste, but what would make it an environment where people thought it was cool to buy the light beer. And what they came up with is the commercials that you see here. So let me just pull this up. There was a Miller campaign for light beer, and you can see the light beer here in the advertisement. I'll just play a couple seconds of the ad here. Let's just get it here.
Second to you poke it, you own it, Law.
You poke it, you own it.
The great taste of Miller Lite, always a good call.
So this commercial, as you go through more of it, comes up with slogans and things like witty statements. The idea here is that we have celebrities who are coming up with fun, manly statements, manly things to do. And you'll notice here in each of these images, we have that Miller's Light that is on the screen, but no one's talking about it being light beer. It's all talking about what it means to be manly. And so by putting the light beer in the same context as all these manly things, we're creating the perception that it is cool, acceptable, celebrities do it, and for that reason, you should too, that you also can look cool drinking light beer. So Miller changed the image of the brand, focusing on those sports personalities and famous people endorsing the product. And since then, light beer has been a success. So we need to make sure we properly frame the research problem. What is it we actually need to know to make a decision? The problem definition process starts with recognizing the issues or opportunities, finding out why that information is being sought. So again, as we talked about in a previous video, sometimes those who are asking for the information don't have a clear understanding as to the underlying issue. So we're trying to help them if we're the one internally, or you're the one that's been hired by a third party, or you are the third party, so you've been hired by an organization to do some research. Then your job is to help understand and clarify exactly what the research issue is, what the problem we're trying to solve is, and what data we can collect to actually help inform the decisions. So we need to recognize the problem or opportunity, find out why the information is being sought, understand the decision-making environment. Who's making the decision? What are they considering? We're going to use any kind of symptoms to clarify the problem. We're going to translate that management issue into a research project. We're going to determine whether the information already exists, so that's going to be our secondary data analysis. We're going to determine whether the question really can be answered, so should we actually be doing research? See back to the video about when you don't do research. And ultimately, we need to turn this into a research objective. What is this so we can actually know we've been successful in our research if we've done what? All right, so let's go through these. Let's start by first recognizing the problem or the opportunity. So in marketing research, we need to identify the specific area where additional information is needed about the marketing environment. If it's not marketing research, if we're doing operations research, research for other purposes for our nonprofit, for our organization, again, we're just identifying specific areas where additional information is needed. So in whatever we're doing, whether it's in selling a good, providing a service, it is helping individuals, it's providing information to sway politicians, whether it's gaining information to help improve the environment. In all those cases, we need to specify the area where additional information would be helpful. Okay? In marketing research, that area doesn't have to be negative, doesn't have to be that we failed somehow. Now it can be. So the problem could be that we have declining sales in operations or in management. It could be that we have declining quality. So there could be a failure to meet some kind of objective. We're not doing what we think we should be doing. We're not as effective or efficient as we should be. But it can be also be positive. It doesn't have to be negative. It can be an opportunity. So it's an opportunity to create a new product or service, an opportunity to appeal to a new group of clients or customers. So it doesn't necessarily just have to be a problem, a negative. It can be that you are conducting research in order to take advantage of some of the expertise, some of the people, the resources, the things you already have, you want to expand on them. And so it can be an opportunity rather than a negative. Just to kind of show you as we look at this, we're trying to look at the gap between what happens and what could have happened. So let's give you an example. Okay, Arm & Hammer, right? They make baking soda. They found that when they surveyed people, 76% wanted to be eco-friendly. 14% wanted to use natural cleaning products. Okay, so there's a big desire by people to be eco-friendly, but a smaller percentage are the ones that are actually buying products that are labeled as natural. So there's an opportunity here to educate buyers who buy Arm & Hammer products that there are different uses for Arm & Hammer products and that Arm & Hammer products are natural cleaning products. So they want to be eco-friendly. We want to educate them that Arm & Hammer is eco-friendly and it can be used for lots of different things so that you can use it and feel that you're eco-friendly in more than just cooking with baking soda. So what did Arm & Hammer do? Well, Arm & Hammer actually opened a exhibit in Toronto. So they opened Baking Soda, The Untold Story, an exhibit at a Toronto museum that went through the use of baking soda since 1860. Okay? A creative solution to what's not necessarily a problem, but an opportunity that people want to be something and they currently feel they aren't, and to get them to engage with your product. Okay, so we're looking at recognizing the problem or the opportunity. The gap can be between what happened and what could have happened, or between what was supposed to happen and what did happen. So it can be negative or it can be positive. So when it comes to recognizing that problem or that opportunity, we look at two general sources of kind of problems. One is there's an issue because of a plan change. The other is an issue because of an unplanned change. So a plan change. The organization changed something about itself, and this is marketing research in this example. So it might be in terms of who we are advertising to, who we think our target market is. We're going to transition to a new group, right? We plan that change. The population has gone from young to older. We're going to transition from baby products to products for mature individuals. We're planning for that change, and so we are going to help us with that change by collecting data, analyzing it, and make recommendations. But we can also have a research that results of unplanned change. Perhaps there's an unexpected change in the external environment. There's now new competition. There is a change in technology that is impacting us and our ability to compete or operate, and so we must respond. Okay, so we can have planned changes or unplanned changes. And that unplanned change of competition or threat by technology, those can be felt as that negative, right? But there can also be serendipity, aha moments that are unplanned change, a unique opportunity for our organization. And so we're considering moving into that new area because we have found ourselves at that unique opportunity. Or we suddenly have people or a combination of resources and people that create something new and different for us. We accidentally discover a new product as we're, so for example, let's say we're trying to create a drug to solve one issue, and we accidentally discover that it fixes a different issue. This is an unplanned change, a serendipitous moment, but we would want to do some research then to see if we can take advantage of that opportunity and what we can do with it. So our problems or opportunities can come from planned or unplanned. They can be positive or negative. If we're talking about the unplanned change, for example, what we find is that maybe there's more car dealerships moving into your town. There's increased competition. What could we do? We could sell used cars. It's because the competition is all selling new cars, so there's an opportunity here we want to explore. Used cars have about 7 times the profit margin of new cars. So that would be a serendipitous moment. Okay. If we have a excuse me. Ugh. We might just discover, say, our nicotine patch delays cognitive decline in Alzheimer's patients, and so we can take advantage of that product. So it's not just that there is a crisis. We could have that there is an opportunity, and we want to collect some data and see if we can take advantage of it. All right, so we recognize the problem or the opportunity. The next one is going to be to find out why information is being sought, and we'll discuss that in our next video.